This is the Savvy Investor radio show and podcast. For help with your retirement, schedule a 15-minute phone conversation with the team at ProStatus Financial Advisors today. Just call 866-597-1040 and at thesavvyinvestorradio.com.
So year after year, the studies show that the number one fear of people preparing for retirement is running out of money. There was a new Morningstar study that backs that up. It found that if you retired before the age of 65, you have, get this, a 45% chance of outliving your savings. The number one reason they cite is the elimination of pensions. I think we can all agree with that. So if guaranteed lifetime income doesn't come from your employer anymore, let's talk about this, Mike. Let's talk about building our own personal style pension plan. That sounds good, but how do we do that? How do we start that?
Well, I mean, it's a crazy thing, and I'm going to blame my own industry of, basically infighting between the insurance world and the investment world, right? Everybody's, and quite frankly, the banking world, everybody wants your money as the investor, right? The banks offer you certain CDs, they offer you certain pluses and perks for going to the bank for stuff. The big box stores, the big financial institutions offer you certain things to go to them. Insurance companies make offers to you. So they're all fighting for your dollar. Well, all of them have value and all of them bring something to the table. And as an independent advisor, we call ourselves a phase 2 fiduciary. And what that means is there's a whole group of people, there's a whole industry designed to help you grow your money and get ready for retirement. But the people that helped you get to retirement are frequently different than the people that are going to help you go through retirement. And I equate it to being like a doctor, right? When you're very, very young, you go to a pediatrician. Mm-hmm. And at some point you switch over to a family doctor. But now that you're 60 and 65 years old, if you have heart issues, do you want to go to a pediatrician? Probably not. I would say no. So as a phase 2 fiduciary, as that second half of your life fiduciary, my job is to help you get into retirement and through retirement, making sure that you don't outlive your money, because of course, that, like you mentioned, that's the number one fear people have. But also making sure you do it tax efficiently, that you have a legacy plan that will protect ourselves from creditors and predators and long-term care issues. That you have a plan that gets you all the way through it. And so what do you do about making sure you do not run out of money, right? If you want to make sure you never run out of money, well, then you have to insure it. I mean, that at the end of the day is you're going to ensure that you never run out of money. And it's funny because there's a whole group of people that say, I hate annuities and you should too. And I get it. It's not like an annuity is the perfect tool for every purpose. If you hired a carpenter to come to your house to do an addition, and he showed up with a hammer, a screwdriver, and saw, he may be talented enough to actually build you the addition. You would probably be more comfortable if he showed up to your house with a whole panel truck full of tools and power tools, everything in the world, and he's only going to use
analogy.
He's only going to use 20 things, but you want him to have them all. Well, that's what a true phase 2 fiduciary will do for you. You can choose from a phase 2 fiduciary. You can choose, do I want to transfer the risk of running out of money, right? So if you own a home, or if you've ever owned a home, you had homeowners insurance, and you transferred the risk of that house burning down, of something catastrophic happening to your house. You transferred the risk to an insurance company so that you didn't have to pay for everything should something go wrong. You have automobile insurance. If you're driving a car, you have automobile insurance. And again, you're transferring the risk of wrecking the car, of hitting somebody else, of hurting somebody else. You're transferring the risk of that financial burden to somebody else. You're more than happy to do that. At some point in your life, especially if you had children or a spouse, you had life insurance to protect them. You transferred the risk of my premature death to an insurance company so that if I died early, my spouse would have enough money to help raise my kids and help offset the losses of income that she would have, in my case, during her working years, and maybe even help her through retirement. So we all understood transferring of the risk then. Mm-hmm. Why is it such a red flag? Why is there such ugliness involved now about even having the conversation about transferring the risk when it comes to your retirement? Well, as soon as somebody says maybe you should use an annuity, even in my office, people come in, we always show them their options. Everybody has the same choices. It's not like I know something secret that everybody else doesn't know. You know what? Besides owning like real estate and all those things, you can put your money in the stock market and create income. You can use like dividends and preferred stocks and interest to create income, or you can buy an annuity. Those are your choices. There's not like something special out there that somebody else knows that everybody else doesn't know. Those really are your three choices. And from my position, from my perspective, anybody you're talking to, anybody you're working with should show you all three choices. Now, you don't have to pick the stock market and absorb the risk. You don't have to pick the bonds and preferreds and absorb the risk. You don't have to pick an annuity and transfer the risk. You pick which one works for you. But as a phase 2 fiduciary, my job is to show you that you do have choices. If you want to understand what your choices are, if you want to understand truly how these things work for you, and quite honestly, against you sometimes, pick up the phone and give us a call, 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040. Sit down with Ryan, myself, and our team, and we will have a candid, blunt conversation about how to create income streams that you will never outlive. We're going to talk to you about how much risk you're taking. We're going to talk to you about the amount of fees you're paying. We're going to talk to you about long-term care, estate planning, and taxes. Talk about being able to reduce risk. Talk about being able to reduce your expenses. How about stop paying taxes? Legally, stop paying taxes. Pick up the phone, give us a call, 866-597-1040.
Again, that's 866-597-1040. Special opportunity for you. If you feel this way, as most 45% of Americans feel, that they're not going to have enough money for retirement. If you feel this way, there's a great opportunity for you to actually do something about that. 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040. If you're 55 and older and have saved $500,000 or more for retirement, a great opportunity for you to do that. Call now and schedule some time with Mike, with Ryan, and the team at ProStatus. And if you're at your computer, you can go online to thesavvyinvestorradio.com. You can do that right now, thesavvyinvestorradio.com. And, it's 24/7. You don't have to wait till somebody answers the phone. If you go online, you can schedule a time right now on their calendar that fits with yours and get that quick 15-minute phone conversation. And that way you can start talking about income and, the income analyzer where, Mike, I've heard you say well, first of all, you guys are going to have these conversations, and people say right here says that their concern is running out of money. But when you do bring up the word annuity,
shudder, right?
So they don't want to hear a possible solution. They're just totally discounting that, but yet their number one fear is running out of money, and annuity could quite possibly be. And again, we're not advocating, like, I love the way you say it, Mike, an annuity doesn't fix everything, which it doesn't. But if it does work for people, they still don't want to hear it because of the connotation that comes with it.
Well, it's the media, right? I mean, every time if you Google annuity, if you were at your computer or if you have your cell phone in front of you and you Google annuity, one of the first things that comes up is I hate annuities and you should too, right? And I get it. I understand the apprehension. First of all, when you buy an annuity from an advisor, that advisor's typically getting paid a commission because that's what insurance does. It pays a commission. So it always begs the question, did the advisor recommend the annuity because they're getting paid a commission or because it was really in my best interest? And I understand that. I mean, I truly get that fear because I want this advisor to be looking out for my best interest, which is why you should work with a fiduciary. Mm-hmm. And I want that advisor to be a phase 2 fiduciary who actually focuses on the second half of your life as you're into retirement because your needs are different then. But I mean, here's a prime example. Sitting with a client just recently, and he had done some Googling and some research, and he knew he didn't want an annuity, which was fine. I mean, he came into it and said, I don't want to buy an annuity. And I said, that's fine. But he had read something called the 4% rule. Mm-hmm. And he had talked to his Fidelity because his 401k was at Fidelity, and Fidelity told him that, yeah, you can use the 4% rule as a guide. And the important part was as a guide, right? That wasn't what you can do. It was a guide. And so we sat down with it. We crunched his numbers. And what I said for him is that, look, at the end of the day, to create the $80,000 a year that you wanted, and that's what he wanted, was about $80,000 a year from his investments. I said, you could, and he needed it in about 4 years. So we had a little bit of time on our side. I said, you can either put about $800,000 into an annuity and transfer the risk of running out of money. And the annuity company will guarantee you and your spouse the $80,000 for the rest of your life. That's one option. And it comes with, with strings attached and all that. Or you can
everything does.
But everything does. Or you could put roughly $1.6 million into preferred stocks and dividends, paying roughly 4 to 7%, but about $1.6 million into preferred stocks. Or you could put basically better part of $2 million into a stock portfolio and follow your 4% rule. All three of them, and I'm doing air quotes again, statistically, at least the two of them, statistically, you won't run out of money. And with the annuity, the insurance company, it's not FDIC, but the insurance company is guaranteeing you won't run out of money right now. So obviously, if you're going to buy an annuity, you want to make sure you're using a good insurance company. You don't want, Joe's insurance company. You want a good, solid one, AAA rated, or at least investment grade. And there's things you need to explore, surrender charges and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, he looked at me and said, well, why would I put $2 million into something if I could just use a little bit over $800,000 and create the same income stream? And I said, you know what? I understand that, but you're now talking about an annuity, and you hate annuities because you read online that only scum-sucking, bottom-dwelling insurance agents sell annuities. So, I'm showing you the numbers because my job is to show you your options, but we don't have to use the annuity. And after a long conversation, one of the things he was stuck about was, I can't get out of it. I'm stuck with it. There's surrender charges to leave. And I said, that's true, but you have to think from the mindset that you can't touch your preferred stock and dividend portfolio, your interest-bearing portfolio. You can't touch your stock market portfolio for anything else but income, because if you touch it for anything else but income, you'll no longer have the base you need to create the income stream. And once I explained that to him, and I told him, quite frankly, yeah, I'm going to get paid a commission if you buy the annuity. For me, this is a 20, 30-year relationship. I'd rather charge you my 1 to 1.5% every single year to manage your portfolio than get paid that, 4, 5, 6, 7%, whatever the annuity is paying. It's better for me financially to get paid more money over time. But for you, at the end of the day, I know all three solutions will work. You pick the one that works for you. If you want to retain the risk of running out of money, then you need to do the $2 million into the stock market, because that's probably the best and most likely to be successful. But if you want to transfer the risk so you don't have to stress, you don't have to watch the stock market, you don't have to worry about a 2000 to 2013, where basically the S&P and the Dow went nowhere for 13 years, you can have that option as well. You can either transfer it or retain it, but just know what your options are. And for you listening today, you watching the podcast, watching us on YouTube, listening to this radio show, if you want to understand your options, pick up the phone and give us a call, 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040. Sit down with Ryan, myself, and our team, and let us show you your options on how to create income. We'll talk to you about risk, fees, long-term care, estate planning, taxes. Pick up the phone, 866-597-1040.
Looking for that second phase fiduciary, as Mike was talking about. If that is you, if you're looking for someone that can do that, as Mike and the team at ProStatus can, if you're over 55 and save $500,000 or more for retirement, this is a great opportunity for you. 866-597-1040. It's complimentary, no obligation. 866-597-1040. Call now and make sure that you have a plan going forward for income. And if you're at your computer, thesavvyinvestorradio.com. Again, that's thesavvyinvestorradio.com. You can go on Mike's calendar, on Ryan's calendar, on any one of the Savvy Investors calendars at ProStatus, and book a time with them to talk about your particular situation and make sure that you are ready to go. Again, 866-597-1040 and online at thesavvyinvestorradio.com. Great information as always, Mike. We appreciate you. Don't forget about the podcast, as Mike mentioned too, and YouTube. Subscribe and like to the YouTube channel and catch all this great information, as well as some extra stuff that we put in there too. So appreciate that. Appreciate you listening. Mike Canet, as always, you, sir, get the final word.
This is Mike Canet. Thank you for listening to Savvy Investor Radio. We'll see you, the Savvy Investor, next week.
Te Advisory services offered through ProStatus Financial Advisors Group, a registered investment advisor. Insurance licensed in Maryland. ProStatus Financial Advisors Group, LLC is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if ProStatus Financial Advisors Group is licensed in your state, please call 410-863-1040. ProStatus Group, LLC is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through representatives of ProStatus Financial Advisors Group.